Thanks, Rudy.
Dr. Kierkegaard, I'll let you introduce us.
Well, this afternoon we have Bruce Miles here with us, and he's going to initiate, can you hear me okay down there? Initiate, I'm going to use short words. He's going to initiate the strategic planning process. Our current plan has been in place for 5 or 6 years, and it's time to review it, renew it, take a look at it, make any adjustments to it that we need to make. And that's part of what he's here for. So I'm going to turn it over to Bruce. He's done this in a number of districts and with a lot of organizations around Minnesota and the upper Midwest. So hopefully you will enjoy the process.
Kind of a big I come to you as a former school paraprofessional and a regular ed teacher and a special ed teacher. I was a school administrator, and then for 6 years I went over to the dark side and taught courses for teachers going back to be superintendents and principals and special ed directors and business managers. So while teaching at St. Cloud State, I discovered that being a board member can be pretty confusing. I had to teach school finance. I was the new guy, and the new guy had to go teach finance because nobody else wanted to. So I went down and took the 3-day school business management course at the state and taught school finance. And I retired in '99, and right now I work with about 110 groups a year. 70 groups are like this, management, ownership, or boards, and they're all trying to develop better plans to run the organization. Half of my businesses or half of my clients are businesses and half are schools and nonprofits. What you have inside the packet, I believe you may already have the agenda that you brought along with you. There's an agenda here with an evaluation form. And then I've got some work to put you through to sort of do a couple of things. The goals, as you can see, are to identify what's working and not working from your perspective. We'll very briefly go over why some schools and why some boards are more effective and more efficient. We'll talk very, very quickly about board evaluation, how boards evaluate their work and how they evaluate superintendents. We'll also take you through the planning project so you know what will be occurring in December. The worst possible case scenario in my mind would be that this is 2 hours of listening to Bruce Miles. So I'm hoping that there's a lot of questions and a lot of conversation. There should be a lot of, hey, current board, how do you guys handle this? Hey, new board members, what challenges do you see coming in? Because the transition between new and old board members rarely happens. I would put, well, there's 400 or 340 districts in this state, and I guarantee you there won't be 5 sessions where new boards and old boards get together in the entire state. That's a mistake. My corporate clients do better board transition than my nonprofit boards. By way of backstory, very quickly, there are 15,000 school districts in the country, 13,000 of which have less than 2,000 students. So in reality, we are an entire nation of rural and small schools. You guys are a regional center. You've got a little bit more critical mass, more momentum, and some bigger challenges that a lot of your smaller districts don't have. What I want to do right now is find out who's holding an ace. Raise your hand if you're holding an ace.
I am.
1, 2, got a third one? Okay. How about kings? Queens? And jacks or wild? Okay. Those are really important cards because you get to go to any group that looks like they're going to be fun. In this room. You can't go looking for another group, okay? Let's take you to the big thick packet. Head on to the inside. Let's get you over to page 1 inside there. Here's what we'd like you to do in very short order. We'll give you about 15 minutes in small groups to go on this. Top left corner. Let's consider the school district for the last 3 years. Top left corner. What have you tried to do that's paying off? So you're going to talk about actions that were intended that had a positive outcome. So again, top left corner, what have you tried to do that's paying off? And to use the baseball metaphor, you could tell us about singles or doubles or triples or home runs. Top right corner, last 3 years. What have you tried to do that's not paying off? Again, this is in that thicker packet. The agenda's in the one, there's the worksheets are in the other. Top right, over the last 3 years, what have you tried to work on that's not paying off the way you want? We're going to be hard on the problem, easy on the people here. but this is where you put down things that aren't working as well. Lower left, where is it going better than you ever would have intended? This is the Battle Lake, Minnesota example. Battle Lake, a little smaller than you, $4.8 million annual budget. Superintendent opens the mail one day and there's a check for $1.8 million, no strings, from an alumni. See, now that would be unintended and positive. Unintended positive for you might be some of the effects of your iPad initiative. You've got a lot of people that really are noticing this. You're getting a lot of buzz about it. That maybe you're getting more buzz than you thought. Bottom right, couldn't predict it, tough to deal with. This would be like electing a former pro wrestler as your governor. Like, we didn't know it was coming, it was a mess for schools, right? We're going to be about 15 minutes in small group, and we're going to hear back from yous guys, as we say in Stearns County, regarding what's working and what's not working. Find your partners. There's caffeine and water over there. We'll give you about 15 minutes in small group and hear back from you.
Right over there.
Okay,
Please,
so
I live
we're
there.
here. You can here, right?
I'm a wild card. I can go anywhere.
Make being a new board member and a remaining board member easier.
Curriculum. iPad initiative.
iPad initiative, right? And curriculum? Why is curriculum the top left?
Why is it top left?
What do you-
Because we hired a new curriculum director, and
Okay.
we are squaring away our curriculum. That wasn't intended.
Yep. So we're hiring and we aligned, right?
Yep.
Excellent.
Sale of buildings.
Good. Single or plural? Buildings?
Plural.
Very good. Top left, what else is paying off for you?
Recent levy passage.
Beautiful.
Evaluation implementation,
Why is that important?
because we're doing it now.
Good, good. Keep going, top left.
Rise in ACT scores.
Excellent.
Rise in graduation rate.
Grad rate?
Even though the state doesn't.
This might go with curriculum, but we were kind of talking about, we've been able to continue our offerings despite cuts over the last decade. Still offering a lot, both academically, extracurriculars.
In spite of paring the budget back?
Yeah.
Yeah, great work.
Yeah.
Good work, board, good work, administration.
Labor agreements.
Wonderful.
SIG grant, which is SIG.
Jay Grant, yep. Top left? Going once? Twice? Lower left, where you get even more bang for your buck.
MMR-curriculum.
And tell me a little bit about that one.
Well, our MMR rating scores aren't very good,
Yep.
but by having a new curriculum director and getting our alignments together, we expect them to increase.
All right, by the way, this kind of stuff, you're trying to run the board at 30,000 feet. You guys are supposed to fly the plane, not put gas in the plane, not serve sandwiches. You're supposed to fly the plane. So this stuff, you make sure this continues. You ask enough questions to make sure that this stuff doesn't stop. But this doesn't need as much attention. When you set MMR curriculum, the question is, why is it occurring? Boards have to continually say, when things are going better than we thought, why? Is it pure accident? Is it a great hire? Is it district operations? Because without asking why on these things, you might miss some future possibilities. Because I want you to be able to go to the well as many times as you possibly can to squeeze more value out of what's down here. So for everything you identify down here, not only tell me what's doing there, but how it got there, okay? What else do you have lower left?
Strong enrollment.
Ah, good. And why do you think that is?
We're not sure.
Huh?
We're not sure.
Okay, okay.
We have good kindergarten classes coming in.
Okay.
And there's some smaller 12th grade classes going out. So right now our enrollment is level or going up a little bit.
So here's a board that micromanages. Jerry, join the Lions in every surrounding community, go to all their meetings and tell kids to enroll here. That's micromanaging. Here's 30,000 feet. Let's continue to figure out why this is working. Would you be able to prepare data for us and maybe give us your best guess as administration team, maybe 60 days from now and 120 days from now? Show us data. We don't have to tell you how to manage this one yet. What else is going better than you thought?
Administration.
Very good. And that's because of?
75% new principals in the last 3 years.
So we had
Retirements,
changes,
moving,
Change what?
reorganization.
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
We had reorg.
Changes and a reorg. Good. Keep going.
iPads,
Beautiful.
iPad
Yep.
initiative.
Yep.
Yeah, it was community driven, and it also had a great IT response, and it was implemented on time.
What do you do in the real world? This is really good. So it was communicated out and planned well, and we did it on time. That's a big deal, because well, frankly, you're all guilty until proven innocent. Because you're either on the board or you're an administrator. And we told everybody in the 60s and 70s that if you're in charge of something, you're guilty until proven innocent, because we're supposed to question authority. When authority actually delivers something and it gets more bang for its buck, that's a big deal. You're putting a lot in the bank with that. Keep going. Bottom left. Where else are you getting more bang for your buck?
One thing we had was response to intervention, and then it's been helping not just the kids that it's intended for, but the high flyers and the average students, everybody.
It makes the system better.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Hey, current board members, would you grab a pen and a piece of paper? I need to write about 1,000 words on RTI. Okay, we're gonna have a little assignment here. How many board members could really write 1,000 words on RTI? Just a quick show of hands. Okay.
No.
Well, I hang around schools all the time, and I couldn't write 1,000 on it. So, board, what's the right level of knowledge for you to have regarding RTI? Current board, what kind of information do you want regarding something that's sort of complex, kind of a system changer? What's the right amount of information to have?
We need to understand the process, and we need to make sure that we understand who's accountable for which elements to ensure it's an effective use of our budget.
Accountability, right? So who's in charge of putting a stake out in the ground and saying, here's exactly where we ought to be 2 years from now on RTI? Who pounds the stake in the ground 2 years out?
Director of Curriculum and Instruction.
Okay? Or the board?
That's the question.
Huh?
That's the question.
I don't know. I mean, how does it work in Willmar? Do you say to somebody, you're so good and so bright, here's a hammer, here's a stake, go pound it, and we're going to follow you? Or does the board say, we'll pound it, and you guys figure out how to get there? How does it work in Willmar? On RTI?
It's brand new.
I think it's new, so we don't have a true basis of who and where to set that stake. I think he should be setting the stake for the staff and saying, here's where we're going to go. And then if we don't get there, there better be answers, and we're talking to him.
Okay.
But RTI is also a little more complicated because the Gifted and Talented Committee is also, as you mentioned, about making sure the high flyers, kids above grade level, are making sure that that RTI time is used well and actually making it more of an opportunity for that enrichment piece beyond just grade level enrichment,
Right.
but offering GT opportunities as well as needed.
So, prior board members, on most initiatives, does the board go put a stake out? Does the superintendent put the stake out, or do individual specialists put the stake out? Who does it?
Superintendent specialist.
Okay? In some places I go, the school board drives the boat, administration water skis behind. I go to other districts where administration drives the boat, the board skis behind.
I think at the size of the district we were at, Bruce, we have enough staff that we have hired and entrusted to do that work.
Okay.
I kind of know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
With smaller districts where it just might be the superintendent and a principal.
Could be,
And
yep.
that could be administration.
Good news and bad news, yeah.
Right. So typically, it kind of comes from committees up through the administration, and then it comes to the board table. We discuss if they're reasonable, or then we talk about that. But pretty much and then we hold them accountable for achieving what we all agree to.
Okay.
And that's really why we're here. We need RTI to be part of the strategic plan. It's probably not going to be one of the major goals, but it's going to be one of the tactics under the major goal.
Good.
And that's what we have to keep our eye on.
Good. I'll keep asking questions until people throw me out, but what else is right now do you have in the lower left? What's going better than you expected? Let's drop the other shoe. Top right, despite everybody's best work, time and effort and resources spent, some things aren't as far along as you want. This is the most important box in the grid.
Two big elementaries.
Okay.
2 extra
Yep.
large.
Okay, which ones? Is it big? What? Enormous?
No, they're not enormous, but they're big. They're big.
They're bigger than some cities I work in.
Yes. Larger than average.
Yeah,
They're bigger than most districts in Minnesota.
correct. Top right.
Facilities.
Okay.
Hey, you guys copied us.
You
Well,
just
we-
talk too loud.
That's an easy one.
Yeah, stagnant curriculum.
Okay. Hasn't gone as far and as fast as you wanted to up to this point?
No, we held it stagnant because of budget cuts.
Oh, I got it,
And
thank
we
you.
paid the price.
Okay, good call. Top right.
We had ELL.
Okay.
Title I. Special ed.
Oh, now you're just handing out the usual suspects here.
No, we're gonna blow up some of that stuff and we're gonna start over.
And these are always in process. They're always in process. What else do you have up in the top right? You're not complaining, you're just stating facts.
Standard matching. Curriculum matching
Got it.
standards.
And that has started and is paying off a little bit, or trending the wrong way, or where do you think it is?
Well, we have it on the opposite side as well,
Mhm.
because we have shown movement in the last 9 months.
Okay, good. Top right, what else needs some adjustment? You've spent time and effort, energy on it, it's not where you want it yet. Big things, little things.
Well, we talked a little bit about health and major medical insurance and potential cost to the district and future negotiations efforts.
Okay. How about bottom right? Couldn't predict it, tough to deal with.
MMR.
MMR, got it.
Diversity.
Very good.
School funding shifts.
Got it.
Economic differences between our community members.
Got it.
The extra large schools resulted in declining relationships between staff and parents and children.
Got it.
We talked about the enrollment of being higher than projected and the increase of technology space needs have made our schools cramped.
Anything else?
Open enrollment.
You guys are a net out or net in?
We're net, aren't we?
Even?
We lose more than we should be losing.
Ah, got
Is the way
it,
of
got
saying
it. We don't want any numbers out.
We like gains.
Good call. Any questions or comments about what you're seeing here? Then let me get you to your packets, sit wherever you're comfortable. Let's go through the material. I'm going to talk to you about staying at 30,000 feet and how to use the plan to do it.
Good job, Luke.
So in the big thick packet, there's a piece here on page 2 about qualities of effective school board members. Slide over.
There's water and soda and cookies over here. It's the only time you get a free meal from the district.
How many people here serve on boards outside of this, or have served on other boards? Great, that's a big deal. The pieces that you're seeing here are from MSBA. I don't know if the district pays for memberships or if people buy memberships in MSBA for the most part.
We pay.
Okay, great. There's some things I disagree with MSBA on. This is a nice piece, though, that said, look, here's what boards are supposed to be able to do in a generic sense. Pretty simple, easy to understand. The one that confuses most board members is respect for district staff. So, by the way, Nate, I'm going to ring you up about 9 o'clock tonight, and I got to tell you, I see smoke and I know there's fire. In specific, I think I saw Jerry Kiergaard sacrifice a goat on an altar in his office. I think he's doing black magic, and then we got some trouble. Have a great day. What does a board member do when you get somebody ringing you up in the middle of the night telling you that something's all messed up? What do you do?
I let them vent.
Let it go to voicemail? Nate, how much?
I
is
think
too much?
those types of questions are interesting questions because there's also other dynamics that go on when someone asks those things.
Yeah.
So my reaction is to let them vent and see where it goes from there. To give somebody an answer based on that, I would have a hard time doing that.
Yeah, I mean, were you there? I saw him, matter of fact, I helped
And
him
I
out
would
on
encourage
it.
him probably to call Dr. Kierkegaard and ask him about it tomorrow.
Yeah,
Probably what I would do.
right. Board, what else do you do when you get a call on something, whether it's good news or bad news? How do you handle it?
Thank them. Thank them
Okay?
for the contact.
Board members, do you set any limits or boundaries on the conversation?
Absolutely.
Where are the boundaries?
Don't know. Every conversation's different.
Give me a guess.
Well, usually it'll be it's when I hear the same point being made twice. and I mean that in all seriousness. And if that takes 2, 3, 4 minutes to get to it, or 10, when I've heard you make the same point again, like I'm not listening to you, then the conversation's over.
Okay.
But I do I listen intently, and like I said, every situation is different.
You need to flesh out, though, and establish what they have tried before they reached you.
Absolutely.
Because otherwise they're going to put the rock in your pocket.
Mhm.
Well, I think you ought to look into the fact the light bulb's out on the high school building. Hold on, that's not exactly why I signed on as a board member, right? And so I think what you should do is you should call the building engineer. If you don't get prompt response, give me a call in 48 hours or something like that.
Yeah, typically, once you start to flesh out, have you gone through the steps? Have you talked to the child's teacher? No. Have you talked, and then if it's yes, then did you talk to the building principal? You try to at least get to those steps. So then at least, for those people that do call, and they've done that, and maybe they've talked to the superintendent, and they're still feeling a need to vent, well then, you listen to that. And then you take the information, and they have to realize that we are only one of a body of 7. And
Limited power.
limited power, and we're policymakers. So, again, input's good, but again, I can't just say that every situation, every call is different.
Sure.
So, or if you get stopped in the community, every visit is different.
We should have a similar process, though. We should have a similar process that we go through, even though it may be a different occasion, different person.
Maybe something you want to spend some time on as you seek the new board regarding, because you'll never do it perfectly the same. Your job isn't consistency and uniformity. But if people understand repeatedly, when I call a board member, that I just can't get rid of my junk and give it to you, I just can't put a rock in your pocket, you ought to look into this, this is your problem. Was when people, whether they're employees or whether they're citizens, they believe they can put a rock in your pocket, they'll figure out who it is first, and your pockets will be bulging. We take you to page 3. Page 3 is another piece here from a magazine called School Administrator. And when I get to smaller districts where people really don't run it like a set of systems, I have to be very careful because there's more, we need to fire the basketball coach. And my favorite district story is I'm in a session like this, and one of the board members says, I'll tell you why I'm on here. There's too much money being wasted in the district. Wait for it. Yeah, you know what's going on? There's a bus that goes by my house every day and there's no kids on it. Somebody goes, dude, you're the end of the route. He goes, what? I used to be the beginning. And they said, no, now you're the end. Oh, okay. I thought, well, we just may have burned a board seat for that issue.